Shall we? I think we shall. Hello folks, of course, it is 9 o'clock UK time on a Sunday, which can mean only one thing. Time for the Sunday Nighter. How you doing, folks, of course? And what do they say over the beasts of war, over Coleraine? And relax. Do they do that on the backstage now? I haven't heard that for a while. Don't know. I see we have a massive crowd in tonight. Oh, starting busy. That's the way I like it. So, a lot of new names. Welcome aboard, people. I'm not even going to attempt to shout out that many people. Normally I start off with about 40 people here and it's shoutable. But that's way meta. Right. So, how are we all? Have we all had a good week? Up to anything good? What are you working on, folks? Come on. Let me know in the comments. Striking Hands had a good day. Good here. Hope you're well. Hey, there's my J Screen. Hello, buddy. Now, Mel has been a busy boy. Okay? Always a busy boy. Always a busy boy. Yeah? Questions are coming in all right. Hey, Tanya. Hey, Tam. Cat. Oh, I've got two moderators looking after me now. I'll have to behave myself. People are talking Gaslands, working on Gasland cars. Johnny Cox is watching up painting miniatures, so good day so far. Nice one, buddy. Dan's mainly been 3D printing. What have you been 3D printing, Dan? Oh, that's a good pro. Dread Pirate Dan, just getting back into Warhammer. I need some basic scatter stuff and a few game mats. Warhammer, which one? Fantasy or... Well, I suppose it's Age of Sigmar now, isn't it? It's not even Warhammer Fantasy. Fantasy and 40k. That question's gone, hasn't it? James is asking me if I had a good weekend. I did. Saturday, I had the grandkid come up and stay with us at my little LT. Yeah, so that was good. We had him last night. No, not having kids again. No, done that. Been there. Done that. Not doing it again. Yeah, boys is asking me, Mal, what are your thoughts on 3D printers, resin or FDM? Isn't FDM that filament stuff? I don't know. I know very little about them. Dan's ready to step in for a minute if a mod is in need. That'd make 3 of you, buddy. Dan's been printing me some surprise bits. Just putting together the last bits of Rubicon to be Fury for bot action. A nice one, Wolf of Odin. Busy blending my own ink washes, building Necron terrain and eating chicken curries. Jimmy, that sounds epic. Although it'd have to be a chicken tandoori. Tandoori, you know what I mean? That is my favourite sort of curry. George is printing decals. I haven't done that in ages. How's your Necromunda coming along? Incredibly slowly. Right, now. Yeah. Willow had a date today. Yeah, she went to the cinema with her boyfriend and then she went to the ice cream bar. And Daddy had to take her. And so, bought some sweets first, and we had a little half an hour to kill before I had to go to the cinema. Now, it had been made clear to me by Willow that I couldn't sit with them. I had to sit at the back of the cinema, and they were sitting at the front. And then, when we went to the ice cream bar, they had to have a booth, and I had to sit by the door. She's so grown up. But I did nip into Hanley, which is like our city centre. And there's a Games Workshop there, or a Warhammer store. And it was open, which is a rarity, because it's not open that often. It's only open like one afternoon a week and weekends. But I treated myself. Yeah, I've just finished Unremembered Empire. So I've got myself the Yarrick Omnibus. Very nice. So, that's on my reading list. I should sit down and paint up my 15mm Cromwells for my Czech first, independent Czech brigade, but the Xbox keeps getting in the way. Lee, we've all been there. We've all been there. We'll be torn between tonight's live show and the start of I'm a Celebrity. Oh, is that on again? I lost interest in I'm a Celebrity after the first few series. Wow, how much money? I don't know. I think it was £15. But I mean, this will keep me going for a month. So it's a good spend. I'm not a quick reader. Or should I say that I find I grab snippets of time to read in. It's very rare I have a long period of time to do anything, to be truthful, outside of work and family and that sort of stuff. And so I read by snippets. And so this will last me quite a while. Got Trek and Felix Omnibus. I'm not much for the fantasy books. I've always been into me 40Ks. It was a cold chocolate. Oh, James. David is asking, he's new to the channel. Can you recommend any particular video I should watch first? I'd go and watch the CD Scatter Terrain in the Let's Makes playlist, mate. That's probably the best place to start. Is there a Doctor Who tonight? There is a Doctor Who tonight, but I'll catch that tomorrow. Mel, do you regenerate? Do I look like I regenerated? Do you not think that if I could, like, you know, regenerate into a younger self? Well, I can shave. I'll look a load younger then. Right, okay, so questions. It is a question and answer show. That's what I'm here for. We've got about an hour to do this. If you go down below into the description, you will find a link to a Google Doc. On that Google Doc, there's two simple questions. What's your screen name and what's your question? You don't need to be logged in or anything like that. Just throw your screen name in so we know who we're talking to. And then just throw your question in there. Keep it terrain related as close to you can. I've already got a couple of responses. We'll keep chatting for another sort of 5-10 minutes, let those build up. And once we've got enough, we'll sort of get barreled into them and start getting you guys your answers. Jason is about to start a modular Necromunda board. Interesting. How are you going to make it modular, mate? Tanya's going to be watching the Doctor Who in about an hour or so. I might do the same, but to be truthful, I think I'll be knackered with having the grandson last night. Mel will want his bed tonight. What's today's topic of discussion? I don't know. Been away from YouTube for a long time, mate, but me and my wife have been watching your vids for about 2 weeks now. I think Diana is your new biggest fan. Welcome, Diana. Welcome to the channel. Have you ever sculpted cork? I'm thinking about making a cityscape cork game, Matt, that has paving and roads. No, I haven't. And I think you might struggle with that. Let me know how you get on, Dread. Has the new Doctor Who learned how to park the TARDIS properly? Yeah. It's a bit of an ongoing theme, losing that TARDIS. But I'm liking her, I must admit. I am quite liking her as a doctor. I've always liked my doctors to be a little bit quirky. Like they're playing a game that's above what you can see. You know what I mean? Bigger picture sort of thing. I think she fits in well with that, with the sort of scattiness and the... So... Today's discussion, John Barrowman, icon or annoyance? Oh, that's 50-50 of both, I'd say. I think, what was it called? Torchwood. I wasn't a big fan of him in Torchwood. Yeah, bro, I was a big fan of Torchwood itself. Oh God, are we talking about food already? Oh no. Right. Other questions coming. I've got 8 questions in so far. So looking reasonable. And I am nailing this brew. That's not going to last long at all. I've got a thirst. A thirst for a decent coffee. There's a real split with the John Barrowman. See a box game of Star Wars RPG by West End Games. 30 years. Nice. Have you used furniture foam as scenery? Yeah. We blend it up and mix it with paints. Oh, Jez. Oh, we've got Jez in now. Now I've got 3 moderators. I've really been watched tonight. Hey, Jez. Right, I'm going to start with some questions before you lot start bullying me. Okay, right. First question. Jamie is asking, when is the Gasland stuff starting? Right. Oh. Sorry guys, just coming off a bit of a cold. I was coughing my guts up all through the night. Right, Gasland stuff. I haven't actually planned to do any Gasland stuff. I was just interested in the game. I am interested in doing a small scale, something 15mm. Gaslands is 20, I think. Yeah, but there's no specific plan to do anything Gaslands at the minute. So, hold on to your horses. Yeah, right, next question. If you do have any terrain questions for me, remember, get them down into the Google Doc. I often don't see the ones that go through the comments because I'm too busy reading a question on this screen, or my eyes are rolling up to the top of my head as like the old grey matters trying to figure something out. That cough is everywhere in the UK this week. Getting over it myself. I know, Spider. It's a 24-hour one that's going round. It's sort of gone through the entire sort of household and I'm the last with it. He needs meds before he dies. Jace, that is not the way to raise funds. Okay? I appreciate your fundraising efforts, but saying I need meds before I die, it's a cough, dude. What I do need is more batteries for my Canon DSLR. Yeah, so I can, because it's a really good lens. I think it's about an 18 megapixel camera, so the image is really good. So I want to start using it more for my close-ups in the videos. But I've only got 1 battery, yeah, and if it dies, I'm knackered halfway through shooting, so I need more batteries for it. So if you do want to help me, that's what funds are going to this week. I don't even know how much they are, or whether you can get a continuous power supply for them. But if one of you wonderful people in the comments can let me know, why is there palm trees everywhere? I always worry when there's palm trees everywhere. It starts with something as simple as a cough, dude. Jace! Don't, man! Really? Really, Jace? If I die, it's Jace's fault. And to think I was going to buy you a butty on Thursday, Jace. Right. Now, in some good news, the studio streaming machine has been picked. Jace should be sorting it early this week, he says. So, we're on a winner there. I've been ordering cameras and cables and that sort of stuff for the studio. So, we will be fingers crossed, we should be back streaming in the studio next month. Yeah, so Thursday night I think will be studio night. What Canon DSLR? It's the 1300, mate. I think that's right. Jace, you can calm down. Right, next question. They're coming in thick and fast. Right, okay. So, Rob's asking, hi Mel, long-time viewer, first-time participant. Welcome, buddy. My question is about scaling. Uh-oh. I work in scales from 1/48 to 1/4 scale. 1/4 scale? What are you doing in 1/4 scale? That's like little children. I'd like to terrain up my bases of my 1/6 figures, mainly knights. Any advice on how to scale up your methods to a larger scale? That's a damn interesting question, Rob. Right. This is one of those that I've never been asked before, so I'm going to have to apply the grey matter. But at the same time, we're talking about the idea of essentially taking our basing methods and scaling them up to base a small child to a baby sized model. Okay, so how would you guys in the comments do it? I mean, for me, obviously, I'd be looking at probably stepping up the thickness of the rock and the grit I was using. Yeah, so less sort of sand, more sort of grit and gravel. Okay, so the grass and the flock. For the grass and the flock, I'd probably start looking at artificial grass. That would be the right sort of scale and length. It does tend to be rather plasticky, so hit it with a matter. Hit it with something that'll mat it down, either a spray of watered down matte Mod Podge or matte medium from Liquitex. You could give it a spray of what you call it, matte varnish, but I'm not sure if with it being plastic, if you'd hit it, whether it'd crack, if you know what I mean. You'd have to have a play with that. Would clump foliage work for bushes? Or would you go for something else? I'd probably start looking at coconut fibre and horsehair, yeah, to make the bushes, because that's probably going to scale up the best. And everyone in the comments is avoiding it like the plague. I may be in the UK in July. Is there a good spot for a channel meetup? I have no idea about a channel meetup in July. I don't know what events are in the July, but Tanya, if you ever make the Midlands and you hit Stoke, you're very welcome. There are tiny flowers that would look full scale next to a large figure. Yeah, there's certainly some. Actually, yeah, the doll flowers. They would scale up rather well. Could you use kitty litter? Yeah, you could. Kitty litter would step up. Now, Insane's trying to encourage me to quit smoking. It is part of the plan, and I've been cutting down slowly. The coughing, breathing is noticeable in some vids. Right, just to be clear, yes, I'm aware that there's certain sort of breath sounds in videos. That's called, what's it called? It's called essing or something like that. It's something to do with microphones. Microphones pick up sort of wet sirs and sort of exaggerate them. I don't really sound like that in real life, dude. Yeah, it's not as bad as the sound on the videos. You can actually sort of audio edit them and bring them back to normal, but it's a real pain and job to get rid of all the breath sounds and that sort of stuff out of my videos. If I was doing like, you know, 4 or 5 minute videos, that's not too much audio, but when you're talking for half an hour, that's a lot of breath sounds to actually manually go in and auto heal in addition. So but yeah, I know, mate. A tree branch would pass as a full-size tree too. Yeah, it would. Trunk-wise. At 1 to 6, you're in the range of many natural products just used as. Yeah, you are, to be truthful. I mean, plants do scale. I mean, obviously, if you're using them for figures, you'd have to preserve them because obviously they'd die. There's a massive conversation in the Watch It chat about cats, California fire and fire tornadoes. I haven't seen the pictures of yet. I'll have a check after the show, guys. Right. Right, Rob. I think that's as many suggestions as we can come up with right now. Just excuse me 1 second. I'll just bring this microphone closer. There we go. That's better. Right. Right, let's move on. We've got 17 questions and we're on number 3 already. Right, yeah, boys is asking, how do I make modular sand dunes for the wasteland? Ooh, modular sand dunes. Modular sand dunes are going to be challenging. Whenever you make anything modular, the idea is you follow a template. Yeah, so wherever is going to join, you have a template for it, whether it's a trench line, a hill line, a river system. But basically, the template is there to make sure that one end of it meets the other end of it. Now, in the case of sand dunes, what you'd have to do is you'd have to define a basic low profile sort of single hill sort of template and use that. You could, as long as you were basing them and taking them down to ground level, that'd be doable. I don't see how you could make them any more modular than being able to add to them and that sort of stuff. I mean, I imagine as long as you're using just one template, yeah, you can go in different directions and make Y shapes and stuff like that with sort of... I mean, essentially, it'd be more like a road, wouldn't it? Or a river. Because there's no way you could do ripples and make those modular. They'd be too, the profile, the template at the side would be too complicated. That's how I'd do it. Simple profile. I mean, it depends how high you want your sand dunes to be. And how steep at the end of the day. But as long as you get a simple profile, you can make things modular. Glad it was the microphone and not you that messed up. No, genuinely, with the wet sounds and the breathing sounds, that's actually you can search for it. There's a process called de-essing, yeah, and that's how you actually remove that sort of abnormal thing. And I do a little bit of it, but to tweak it, it's a lot of work. And if my videos were short, you know, I'd definitely polish it, because there's other things I'd polish as well. There's a sharp click you get when your lips smack. It's called lip smacking. Okay, and I'd remove those as well. But like I say, that's audio processing, not my lungs. Right, okay, so I reckon that's what you call it. Modular sand dunes. Right, I'm on 3 of 19. Questions coming in thick and fast, guys. Question 4. Warfare Jax is saying, I need World War II diorama tips for a snow battle. Go check out the water, lava and snow playlist, mate. There's a playlist, there's a few snow videos that we've recently done on a project called High Peak Pass. You should be able to get pretty much all the snow tutorials you're looking for to do a snow battle diorama in that playlist. So go have a look at, I think it's the water, snow and lava playlist. Terrain tutorials, water, snow and lava. Go have a look in the list of playlists, you'll find it there, mate. Right, moving on. Mel, Tanya's asking, Mel, when are we getting some more Dark Ages stuff? Actually, coming pretty soon. Should be rolling in the next 4 weeks. We're back to the medieval stuff, and that is actually taking back. So yeah, that is definitely coming, Tanya. I got distracted by spray cans. And I've been working a bit on the Scar project. Yeah, you know, the lava board sci-fi project. Right. Okay, next question. Question 6 and 19. Do you use a mic screen, Mel? No, I don't, Dan. I use a shotgun mic because I'm in the studio. Right. Could you do it? Right, George is asking, could you do a tutorial on making and using static grass applicators? I have one and haven't had good results other than shocking myself repeatedly. Hello, you. Hello, you. Hi. Hi. Oh, dude, come.
We didn't get much Legion done, did we?
No, we didn't get much Legion done, dude. You were having a bath and I was having a kip.
Dad,
Right. Yes, darling.
Did you mean for Corbin to give you a refill?
Yeah, I wanted a coffee.
You should put it in the sink.
Have you just put it in the sink?
You've handed me a glass.
He's pulling it out. He's put it on the side.
No, don't pull it out. Or get me a fresh glass if it's got. Get me a fresh mug if it's gone in the dirty dishwater. I'll just pull it out, make Dad a coffee in the, even though I've just dumped it in, what do you call it?
I know, you could just give me a cup and expect me to do something with it.
Oh, really?
Yeah, Dad.
You can't get the staff, can you? Dread Pirate said that's the most depressed Superman since Superman 3. That's brilliant, mate. Oh, don't cough. Right. Right, with regards to George's question on static grass applicators, no, to be truthful...
Milk and sugars.
Yeah, what you call it? 2.5 sugars, because it's a small spoon. Yeah? And what you call it? And just a little bit of milk. Okay?
Yeah.
Thank you, mate.
Well, there's nothing.
And can I have a cake?
What cake?
One of the cupcakes in the cupboard.
There's 3 sorts: chocolate, strawberry, or coconut.
Strawberry, please. They're getting to that age. It's great. Right. So, no, I can't do a tutorial on static grass applicators. Yeah, one of the strawberry ones, please.
Middle? Is that...
The strawberry one.
I don't know which one the strawberry one is.
I know which one the strawberry is.
Which one? One's got coconut.
That one's chocolate. That one's coconut. That one's strawberry.
Okay.
Correct.
Well done.
Thanks. Makes my life easy now.
It's amazing. He was using power tools yesterday and doing the skirting board. Yeah, now he's struggling to open a packet of cupcakes. Right. Hannah's saying, I made your trench thing and it was so good, my teacher loved it. Nice one, Hannah. Right, okay, I need to explain why I'm not going to do a static grass applicator tutorial. I'm quite happy teaching.
Don't put the chocolate chips in your pocket.
Leave the chocolate chips in the what you call it. They're for Cheeto porridge.
That's for Dad's porridge, not for you. Put them away. Put them away.
Sorry, guys. Look, I don't even know why I'm even having to sort of like apologise or anything. You guys know the crack. Yeah, 9:30 is bedtime in this house. Yeah, the kids, this happens every time. Yeah, right. So anyway, I'm happy to do tutorials on doing static grass using an applicator, but I'm not an electrician. I don't understand how they actually work. I wouldn't know how to build one or how to explain what you need to do electrically to make a decent one. Now, the closest I do is work with Lee down south, and he made from warpainter.net, and he makes the flop box, and I helped design a terrain version of one of those. Yeah, so that's as close to doing a static grass applicator tutorial as I want to do. It's not my field, guys, and if it's not my field, I don't want to pretend I know something. And with it being electricity, I especially don't want to pretend I know something. Right. Right, TJ is asking, any tips for modelling rural communities? Interesting question. Modelling rural communities. Now, when you say rural communities, I immediately start thinking, are we talking flames of war? Are we talking about little hamlets on the Rhine? Hello, darling.
Bed. You won't pass on camera. Bed.
Dad was gonna make me coffee.
I'll make you dad a cup of coffee. Come on.
Bedtime. Mum's called it. She's been on a date today. Oh, I don't get a kiss now. His name is Brandon. If we ever need him taken out, you guys have got my back. Yeah, we can ship him off to some place in the world.
He wants to go to Japan.
Right, have I got any terrainiacs in Japan?
I'm not sure.
Love you. Come here.
Yeah.
Love you. Go on.
Can you open the door?
Okay.
Come on, right, kids, I want you to sleep now, please. It is a school night.
Oh, thank you, buddy.
Thank God.
Right, oh, that looks good. You crush. Go put another sugar in that, dude. Go on. And give it a good stir.
Stand still. Willow, calm down.
Right. I'll catch
Did
him.
you not realise what he did? He put in 3 spoons of coffee.
Really? You put 3
Corbin,
spoons
you
of coffee
moved
in
as
it?
I was doing it, you naughty.
Corbin, you put 3 spoons of coffee in it?
No.
Just give it to your dad.
No, I don't be annoying because I know doing that.
Right, Willow, bed. Corbin, bed. Good night, love you.
That looks very strong, mate. Dude, be honest with me. Have you put 3 spoons of coffee in there? Because you'll give me a heart attack.
No, but 2.
2 spoons of
It's
coffee.
the little spoon.
All right, okay.
He hasn't done anything wrong. Go on, mate. Right, both of you to
All right,
sleep
love
now.
you, lad.
Love you. Right, it's 'cause they know you can't move. That's
Yes,
why
they know exactly that I'm pinned in this chair. Right. And did you make him sign a predating my daughter contract? No, I didn't. Actually, I've got to say, this Brandon, he's a lovely little lad, you know. And they had a lovely little date, so good on him. Young love, eh? I mean, I must admit, when you look at some of the lads in Willow's school and in her year, she's picked a decent one. Huh. Mom has spoken. Yes, Mom has. Put Brandon on a train to Scotland. No. Right. Spoons of coffee. Yeah, that was my concern. Right. Any tips for modelling rural communities? Now, when I think about this, I'm thinking small scale. Are we talking, you know, German hamlets on the Rhine? Typically, rural communities tend to be what I call a crossroad. Yeah, you tend to get... I've lived in a few really small villages and stuff like that, especially in North Wales, and they tend to gather round crossroads. So that's all you'd need. Obviously, you need the road. After you got the roads in, you do a couple of, like a run of like 3 or 4 houses either side, both sides of the crossroads. Then just a few more spread out. Maybe on the crossroads, something going round the back to garages, that sort of stuff. Maybe some allotments. Gardens in rural communities tend to be a lot larger because there's the space for them. So you can definitely factor in vegetable patches, stuff like that. On top of that, quite typically, you'd probably have a farmhouse somewhere nearby. You could certainly have some work sheds with farm equipment, that sort of stuff, round the back. And that's probably how I'd start. Instant coffee, it's the only coffee I drink. Britons don't do the full bean filter coffee things. That's not us. Okay, we're an instant coffee. Yeah, we do the full leaf tea thing. Yeah. Tim, when I met my father-in-law, he very conspicuously left his shotgun by the front door. He's even in one of my wedding photos holding one. Oh. Right, I do need to check PayPal because we haven't had any on-screen notifications, and I do need to make sure we're not missing anyone who's thrown us a couple of nuggets. Thank you, baby.
You're welcome.
So one quick check.
Bye.
Yeah, hi, bye from the old Kez. Right, nothing today so far. Right. So yeah, that's how I'd handle rural communities. I'm interested to wonder what scale. I'm trying to cut back to 6 cups of coffee a day. 6? God, I must knock back about 15 at least. I mean, think about it. I'm going to put back 2 tonight in this show. I started with 1 on the show. I've already started the second. We're only 40 minutes into the show. And that's before bed tonight. I actually have a cup of coffee before I go to bed. Puts me in the mood for sleep. Now, you may be looking at me and going, Jesus Christ, Mel. Seriously, you have coffee before bed? Yes, I have coffee before bed. You see, the thing is, this coffee may be laced with caffeine, but this coffee is not army coffee. Yeah? If you've ever had a cup of army coffee, and it comes in a NATO standard coffee mug, yeah, which is a pint. Yeah, you have a pint of army coffee, and trust me, you ain't sleeping for a week. This stuff is like decaf to me. We have kettles here because we're civilized. We have teapots here because we're posh. Coffee puts you in the mood for sleep. Yeah, genuinely. I'll have a brew before I go to sleep. Right. I want some of my cupcake before we get stuck into more questions. So yeah, TJ, I'm interested in knowing what scale. But yeah, it's... For the final comment on the, rural communities, Google Earth, mate. Go find a small hamlet and copy one of those. Right. Shall we crack on? Let's do it. Right, okay. Carl's asking, what product would you recommend for the water in a river section of a 40k diorama? You got 2 choices. You either go in resin or you go in acrylic water effects. Main modelling wise, there are other things that you can use. If you're going for resin, I'd recommend glass cast from Easy Composites. It's my favourite resin. 2-part epoxy, mix it 2-to-1 ratio, and it works wonderfully. If you're going with the acrylics, best acrylic I've come across so far, yeah, is the Woodland Scenics one. That's the one where I've had the least crackling around the edges and that sort of stuff. Right. So yeah, 2 options. You can either go for resin or you can go for acrylic. So Easy Composites, glass cast, or Woodland Scenics. Yeah, those are your best options for the water. Okay, British Man's asking, what are some good tools to use? Right, good tools to use. Generally, you want a pair of clippers. I mean, most of my work is done with a retractable snap-off blade. Yeah. Sandpaper, wire brushes, clippers. A jewellery saw, it is quite handy. Hot glue gun. Set of metal rulers. Some metal files. I'm literally just imagining my tool wall at work and just going through the tools of what tools I use. Yeah, they're going to be your start off. If you're doing a lot of phone work, then I do recommend the tools from Hotwire Phone Factory. Yeah, as a step up, if you know what I mean. Oh, pardon me. Right, next question. Question 11 of 23. Right, target pins, first time modifier. I've just started on some MDF buildings. Would you recommend card or coffee stirrers for my first attempt at slates? I'd probably go card. Coffee stirrers work well for wooden shingles. And for some reason, I just have this gut feeling that you're not working on old medieval MDF buildings. Yeah, you don't tend to see many of those. So I'd recommend card, thick card, and go with that, because they card looks better as slate than coffee stirrers does. But coffee stirrers look better as shingles than card does. Yeah, stirrers from a first attempt at slates. So yeah, go for card for that, mate. Question 12. 4-star. How do I stop spray paint melting my minis? Dude, your spray paint melts your minis? You can have problems with... some companies use PVC, yeah, to make models out of. PVC is a softer plastic and it can have problems with spray cans. I've got some Reaper models down there. And just one second, let me just grab it. Yeah, what you call it? I've got this Reaper Minotaur, and I spray primed him. Yeah, and what you call it? And it had a reaction, and even now it's slightly where it had a reaction. It's slightly tacky to touch. Now what they do say is with PVC models, yeah, i.e. the white plastic ones, yeah, what you should do is you should not use sprays and just use standard acrylic paint to base coat them and that stuff, and not prime them, which came as a bit of a surprise after I'd primed them all. But apparently that's the way. Oh, he is nice, isn't he? Yeah, I don't know about melting minis, but if you're getting that sort of reaction, get some brush on primer or something like that. Right. Interesting jab. Right, okay, we're on 13 or 23. I am doing alright. British man's asking, what scale do you use in your display? I tend to do 28mm, to be truthful. Which is my preferred wargaming. I mean, these Legion models, I think, are these 32? They look a bit tall for 28. Pink Horror, one of the original ones as well. Giving you the finger. I've been going through some of my old models upstairs, but yeah, I tend to work in 28mm, mate. Right, 14 or 24. Jimmy, thinking of getting into a new naval game by Warlord Game, Cruel Seas. Have seen it. Yeah, wanted to make a sea mat. Okay. Can you possibly do one the same lines as the mat that you created for BBB? How about naval terrain tutorials for the game? Maybe your pals at Warlord can send you a box. I'm sure Warlord would love to send me a box for me to do tutorials on. My build list at the minute is quite busy, and to be truthful, I have seen Cruel Seas, and I am interested in naval games, but I'm not sure on the scale. I think the scale is too big for me, to be truthful. I was thinking something a bit smaller for my naval stuff. Harking back to the days of Games Workshop's Man of War, that sort of scale. But Yeah, with regards to doing a sea battle mat, yeah, you can get sort of printed textured leatherette, and you can get a blue one, yeah, that looks really like like the sea, yeah, blue textured leatherette. Just let me give a quick search. Textured leatherette. Yeah, there's loads. Yeah, just blue texture, blue leather texture. Get one of those, give it a light dry brush with a bit of a lighter blue and occasional spotting with a little bit of white. There's your battle mat, mate. Easy peasy lemon squeezy. Remember, folks, if you are enjoying the show and you're liking this, remember there's links down below towards further tips. Yeah, you can send tips, you can buy something off Amazon, or you can do the Streamlab thing and get the zombie on the screen for me. Either way, if I'm helping you, have a look in the description down below and consider helping me, yeah? Remember, I am trying to fund some new Canon camera batteries. Yeah, so any donations gratefully received. Right, should we do another question? I'm very nasal today, aren't I? It's not fun, you know. Why is it that your nose runs more at night? The longer this show goes on, yeah, my nose goes like this. I'm sure he's put 3 coffees in this, you know. It's pretty damn strong for a coffee. Right. Done that one. Right, Cohen's. Ever been thinking about building a game board for Kings of War Vanguard? Suitable size 3x3 and perfect some building and terrain combined. I wouldn't build it for Vanguard. Specifically. It's like someone's saying that Cruel Seas is 1/300th. Is it really? Really? 1/300th? I didn't realise. I thought it was much bigger than that. Your nose is athletic, Mel. Always running. Have you ever been... so, I wouldn't build a game board specifically for Kings of War Vanguard. Yeah, just because I don't play it. I've got plenty of tutorials on doing game boards. You can certainly do one for 3x3, but I think the medieval stuff I'm going to be doing and the early age stuff that I'm going to be doing would fit it well. Plus, there's been a lot of requests for more fantasy magical stuff. So, damn, that's disgusting. So anyway, what you call it? There's definitely more of the right sort of terrain coming for that. Alright. I may need to go and blow my nose in a minute. I ain't doing that live on cam. So. Right, next question. Right. A lot of people asking the same question over and over again. Okay, Airbrush is asking, hi Mel, to weather vehicles, do you buff coat for dust effects with an airbrush? But my airbrush speckles when I do. Have any tips? Do a buff coat for dust effects with an air. To be truthful, I don't do that. I mean, my airbrushing is pretty typically just base coating and simple highlighting. I don't think I've ever put a buff coat through an airbrush, and I don't even know what one is, mate. I'm assuming you're talking about putting down a gloss coat. Yeah, so you can do weathering pigments effects, because you tend to do those and weathering washes on top of a gloss coat, then matte seal it. Yeah, but my airbrush speckles when I do. Speckles tends to be a flow issue, a blockage issue. It speckles because it's not thin enough or it's struggling to get through until the pressure builds up enough to pull it in a big burst. So I'd probably suggest it. If a buff coat is what you mean by that as a gloss coat, I'd thin your varnish down a little bit, mate. Right. So yeah. It's a flow issue by the sounds of it. When will you finish the demonic altar? Our cat is asking. It's actually pretty much all done. Yeah, just editing it up now. I've got to film the outro. Yeah, I had to wait for the resin curer. But yeah, now what's next week's schedule? Video on Tuesday. I can't see the live show on Thursday yet, so we'll have to see. And if I get round to editing the altar, it'll be up for Thursday. If not, it'll be up for Tuesday. Right. Question 21 of 25. Right. Yeah, done that one. Right. Tiger Tank's asking, how do I mist a beige colour and colours like that for weathering, terrain and 40k? How do I mist a beige colour? I have no idea what you're actually asking. What do you mean by mist a beige colour? And colours mist them? I don't know if my brain ain't working properly today or it's just one of those days. Tiger, clarify that question, mate. Right, Cat's chipped in with a tip, not a question. After a discussion on the Facebook group about cutting mats, suggest checking for local quilters guild or group. Smile nicely and ask them for their cast-offs. They replace them often, but they are great for terrainiacs. Bringing some sweets wouldn't hurt. So Cat's saying if you have to watch at cutting mats, find where your local quilters group meet, because they go through them like you wouldn't believe and take sweets and smile. I like the advice, Cat. Epic Dungeon Tiles is asking, how would you go about painting sheets of scrap metal lying around? Mine always look too shiny and too silver. It's more the case of how you wash them down. Yeah, I mean, metallic paints are typically shiny. Yeah, you can't avoid that. There's very few metallic paints which look realistic. I know that sounds crazy, but they're essentially glitter in a clear medium. You got to tone it down with your washes. And I tend to find a little bit of black mixed with a little bit of dark brown. Yeah, as a thin wash works brilliantly for just muting them down. You see, the thing is, metal that normally is only shiny when it's polished or it's galvanized. Yeah, or stainless. Most metal we see is actually going through some form of oxidization, so it's actually a lot matter. It's more grey than metallic. Yeah, so I find putting a wash on it really does dampen it down. So yeah, I just simply apply a wash, mate. Red Green saying, rust, lots of rust? Certainly. He may be referring to buff coloured paint, which is sort of dust coloured. I've never seen a buff coloured paint. That must be a US thing. Yeah, because I've never seen a buff as a colour in the UK. Right, no worries, Epic Tiles. Tiger Tank's come back. It's for weathering, to dull down the vehicle and make it look worn down. How would I do this? Same way, weathering pigments, when you're picking your weathering pigments, you've got to pick proper pigments. Yeah, don't try chalks or anything like that. and you just dust them on and gather the dust where it would and sort of wipe off the recesses. I mean, to be perfectly honest, vehicle modelling and that sort of stuff, it isn't really my field. It's not something I do a lot of. Yeah, but yeah, just put it down and then fix it in place with a matte coat to hold it in place. Same with the washes, although with the vehicles people tend to do oil washes with spirits. Mel, Vallejo have a buff in their model range colour. I'll have to go check it out. Thanks, Tam. Tamiya XF57 is also a buff. Right. Gary's never heard of a buff colour. Curious. Yeah, just to jump onto this buff thing. Those guys in the comments, have you heard of a buff colour or not? And where are you in the world? Is this a regional thing? Let's get that in the comments and see if we can get an answer to that. Right, technically I have done all my questions, so we're an hour in. I can answer a couple more questions just yet, so I'll take 2 or 3 more questions. So after 2 or 3 more questions, I'm going to switch off the form. Jump down below, guys. Get your questions in if you want them. Yeah, Jimmy's saying pretty much the same. Red paint for go faster stripes. George's New Jersey, USA. In Scotland, never heard of one. Nope, never heard of it. I'm in the UK though. Scotland, never heard of it. No, Netherlands. Haven't heard of it. Portugal. They have buff in Australia, Peter's saying. Joanne's saying I'm in Sweden, never heard of it. Bleedy Easy saying yes, but I'm in the UK. Fred saying in the UK it's a yellowy brown. Cat saying I think it's a flesh colour with a pinkish hue. Nowadays flesh colour is not probably PC. I get you. I understand what you're saying, Cat. 100 shades of flesh colours. I've heard of buff paint. Leicestershire. No, UK. Buff was the colour of the 18th century uniforms. Lancaster. Buff is normally used to describe the colour of buff coats, kind of coats worn in English Civil War. Made from buffalo originally. It's tough, think thick cowhide. Not think rich tea bicky. Really? So buff is from buffalo colour. Buff is a tan or a beige. UK buff coats worn by English Civil War. Raw hide colour. Sweden saying, yeah, heard of buff colour. They have buff on Dulux website though. Seems to be a tan beige. You see, we'd use tan or beige. Those are the ones I'm used to. But Dell in Spain saying, what's your buffs? What you do to finish and polish? Yeah, Angela's saying from the UK, I've heard of buff. Tam saying a lot of people might know it by different names. 50 Shades of Buff. We use buff here. So it seems it's one of these things that we understand what it is. It's a brown, tan sort of colour. From what it comes from buffalo hide, which was the uniform of the English Civil War. And I know that sort of yellow colour. I know the Civil War soldiers. Striking saying he always thought it was a desert brown colour. I'm quite interested. I'm also quite interested in how English Civil War people were wearing, what you call it, buffalo hides. That can't be right. It's got to be a hide colour, hasn't it? Tanya's saying, never seen buff, just assumed it was beige. Now you see, colours like tan and beige I am well used to, but not buff. The great buff debate, eh? Buff, the Marmite, yeah, of paint. Right, I've had 2 more questions in. Let's lock off the responses. What have we got? Yeah, boys has thrown in with the Gaslands one. Dude, you ask about Gaslands every week. Yeah? If I wasn't sure, I would be damn sure that you are employed marketing Gaslands to raise it on live shows. No, I've not played Gaslands. I don't think I will either. Rules look interesting enough, but not enough interest from the boys, so that's one of those rule books that'll sit on the shelf and get popped out for reference. Ask Fred about Buff. Yeah. Where is Fred? Fred's recovering from an operation. He had he's developed arthritis in his wrists from years of painting. So about probably a couple of months ago he went through surgery on his non-dominant hand, and then about 2 weeks ago he went through surgery for his dominant hand. Yeah, so right now he can't paint and won't be able to paint for a couple of months as he goes through rehab and that sort of stuff. It's worn as a bullet, sword-proof vest and jacket, so it's a type of armour. Apparently it's not clear what animal a buffalo was in the 17th century when the term was first used. It may or not be what we call a buffalo today. Right. So when I say I'm in my wife's in the buff, I'm calling her a buffalo? Yes. Don't let her know that. And don't tell Kez that either. Yes, 1600s buffalo. Bull. Really? Yeah, I'll send Fred your best. I'm actually planning on having Fred a little bit more on the show, to be truthful. He's going a little bit stir crazy, yeah, not being able to paint. Yeah, and so I've sort of said, well, why don't you come in and we'll do a couple of videos talking about colours of various things and giving insights. So we were thinking, first one, colour of rust. And we could get Fred's insight on rust and decay and how to represent that in colour modes. Yeah, what do you reckon, guys? Do you think that'd be something you'd find interesting? What I'm thinking is I'll have a model, we'll have all the paints, and then we'll take Fred's guidance and I'll sort of do the actual painting work. Yeah. And we'll look at it as like a sort of a weathering colour masterclass. Because, I mean, Fred's painted all sorts and he knows the colours inside out. That's bloody strong coffee. Fred's good, use his other hand. No, he's recovering. Ebonheart? Okay. When did the words start coming across the bottom? They haven't been there all show. To do a video on Mel, health tips and how to protect yourself. I'll leave that to someone else, I think. As an alt player, I'm interested in painting rust. Yes, for rust. I'd love to see more painting weathering videos, especially Fred. Right, yeah. Definitely seems to be interest in that. Fred's colour guides could be a new weekly vid. Well, I don't know about weekly because of editing time and that sort of stuff, but I was thinking about Friday with Fred. Ask about verdigris. Yeah, I can ask about verdigris. We can do one on that. Let me just... Who's had my dad pen? My dad pen sits on top of my dad notebook. And it's not here. It has been ad off. It's the only pen I've got. Thieving git. Nope, I haven't got a pen. Right, I'll just have to watch this video afterwards and write them all down. So, verdigris we can definitely do. Rust we can definitely do. And grabs the book and searches for the page. Yeah, any other sort of weathering stuff we could do? What would you like to see? Right, TJ's asking one final question. Do you recommend using sandpaper as texture for roads? I do, but you want a heavy grit sandpaper, not a fine grit sandpaper. You also want to make sure you hit it with a matte varnish, yeah, before you paint it. If you go onto the Terrain Techniques, Buildings and Urban, I think it is, or Buildings and Ruins, I demonstrate making sandpaper roads in there, and then there's also another video in the Let's Make playlist where where I cover making sandpaper road in there. The funniest part of the dad pen is that he sounds surprised that it is gone. I turned around to him. Yeah, I bought a box of 100 pens. They lasted a month in that drawer. Gone. Everyone's got pens but me. Willow got me a little dad notebook and a little dad pen for my live show so I can make notes. And I said, no one touch this. And someone's had it. Git. It'll be Kerry. Willow, it won't be Willow or Corbin. It'll be Kerry. She's in trouble. Verdigris and copper roofing also. Some bleach walls and colours, some bleach, yeah. You have 2 suspects for the dad pen. No, I've got 1. Begins with Kerry. Asian of wood for old fences. Yeah, yeah. So we'd want to look at sort of wood aging and sun bleaching. We want to look at verdigris, yeah, and we want to look at rusting. Anything else? Yeah, sun bleach, yeah. Oz the dog had it away. Oz did not have it away. He's sleeping away. Aging of wood, yeah. I'm sure me and Fred can cover these. Right. Alright then, so we've got the aging of wood and sun bleaching. Yeah, we've got verdigris and we've got rust for us to start on. Mould and liching, like in old graveyards. Yeah, yeah. We can look at damp. Damp, shall we say. Because you always find them near damp. Aged stones. I reckon aged stones will fall into the weathering anyway. Sleepy dog, guilty dog, very true. Right, guys. I'm really sniffing and getting nasing. I think I'm going to have to blow my nose and all that sort of palaver. And my bladder's starting to bounce. I think it was that double hit of the coffee Corbin gave me. Right, we've nailed through the questions. We're about, an hour and 15 minutes into the show. So, I reckon that's a good one. Does Fred mainly work in acrylics? No, he's an oil painter, but he works in absolutely everything. Well, crayons, acrylics, oils. Right. So, it's the tumble going round. We can hear it. I know. I think it's just finished. Better get the clothes out, get the uniform sorted for tomorrow. It is a school day after all. Right, I'm back in the studio tomorrow. You have a video coming out on Tuesday. You might have one on Thursday. If not, I will see you on the Sunday. I can't see the studio sessions being up and running this week. Maybe next week, more likely the week after or the week after that. But definitely before Christmas. Yeah, we'll be up and running in the studio. Fingers crossed. Yeah, I've done everything my side. Jace is just ordering it now, so fingers crossed we're good. In the meantime, guys, yeah, as always, I hope you enjoyed the show. I hope you enjoyed the videos. I hope it helps you. And I'll see you soon on another Sunday nighter. All the best, yeah? Ta-ra. See you later, folks. See you, Kat. See you, Jace. See you, Jez.